And has there been one idea that you have taken from this evening that you can take back to PLSA to share with the sector?
I think it's probably needing to have the leadership of the organisation own the concept of diversity and inclusion. So at the PLSA, we're lucky, our CEO really gets it and our SMT really get it. But it's thinking about how we then encourage leaders across the pension sector to get the concept of D&I, to get how it can improve decision making and the benefits to their own organisations, their own trustee boards, and really act as ambassadors to spread that word across the pensions industry.
I think what really resonated with me was the part about intersectionality.
Yeah.
We know that from people come from different backgrounds, and when you create a sense of belonging, it's about being intersectional and appreciating different people's values and beliefs, but also what they bring as well to create that diversity and inclusive culture.
Well, I think there was some standout speakers. It's been a really inspiring event because of the breadth of topics and perspectives covered. But for me, there was one particular speaker who reminded me how important it is not just to have the senior sponsor, not just to have the grassroots, but to actually say, what are you doing to engage your leadership team or your middle management, and how are you genuinely investing time in engaging them in their behaviours, unintended or otherwise, and how they can really, along with a CEO that's embedded and believes, change the values of an organisation and make sure it's as inclusive as they want it to be.
I think the events and having role models, when I was growing up, I didn't have any female role models, any LGBT role models, any foreign role models, as I come from a Portuguese background. And as a child, when you're shaping what you want to become, it's very hard to do that when you don't have people in different sectors. And I think that putting events and having those role models will show the younger generation, that it's possible. It's not impossible, it is possible.
When we're looking at fund managers and assessing them for our customers, our clients, perhaps a greater focus than we've had in the past on just the makeup of those teams, those fund management teams. Sometimes seen as a positive when they've been together for a long time and all come from the same place and know each other really well, and I guess just challenging that a bit. And is that really a good thing when you see more diversity in that background?
What's the one thing that you have learned from this evening that you're going to take back to your workplace?
So it's really having that executive level buy-in, but also being data driven. So if you really been able to measure the change you're making, so it's not just having a policy, it's really measuring the impact of that policy and having data to drive it. And obviously I work with fund managers and asset owners, and everything we do is data driven. So it makes sense that if you really want to make an impact from a D&I point of view, you need to use data and really show the impact of that data.
I think the great thing about diversity and inclusion is the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, it's become something that people do understand more from a business point of view. So diversity is definitely more around how you recruit and whether you have that breadth of diversity in your workforce, different types of people that think different types of ways. But actually, is your culture inclusive enough to allow them to thrive and survive when they get there? And I think one of the takeaways from today is that is almost more important. So I think what's great is that the topic has moved away from have you got a diverse workforce to have you got a diverse workforce and an inclusive culture that allows people to be the best they can be.